there, kids. Welcome to another math video for Eureka Math, Grade 5, Module 5, Lesson 6 homework. And as you can see from the problems here, we're going to have a lot of calculating to do today. The objective at the bottom is to find the total volume of solid figures grouped together, composed of two non-overlapping rectangular prisms. And because they're rectangular prisms, it means you can use your formula, volume equals length times width times height. And so you're going to want to do that being careful to keep track of what you're multiplying so that you can not mix up or solve too much. So my recommendation is to label the blocks with an A, B, and then make your work nice and neat so you can figure out what did I just solve and where do I put my answer and how do I combine these, and don't forget where you are. And if the lights go out today, it's because this is going to have to be a long video because there's a lot of work today in this one. So we're going to go ahead and jump right in, find the total volume of the figures, and record your solution strategy. So what do you do when you don't perhaps have all the information? Like say, if we're looking for the length, width, and height, and I say, all right, for A, I can see that I have my 13 is what I could use for my length, and I need the width, which right here, if you have different colored pens, you can kind of mark on your paper and say, okay, well, if there's not any hanging over, then all of the pieces that go back this direction have the same measurement. So not only is the height here 2, but the width is 2 as well. So we have a 13 by 2 by 2, which means it's 13 times 4. And so the volume, and this is misleading, so I just want you to know that this is for the volume of figure A. And so your volume, 4 times 3 is 12, carry the 1, 4 times 1 is 4 plus 1 is 5. And so that would be inches cubed. Okay, so we're going to remember this, and this is just for A. We need to also find the volume of B. So we've got the length and the width, but what is the height? And so the strategy is for box B, we need to take the total height, and from here on out we can just use the letters, and that's going to be 4 minus 2, which is the height of box 1 or box A, to get the H of B. Okay, so we know what we're talking about. It's 4 minus the 2 to give us the height for this little section here, which is going to be 2. So 2 plus 2 makes 4. So for box B, your volume, you're going to use length times width times height again. And you can solve these in any order. Here we chose 2 by 2, but you can do it in any order. Remember, commutative property tells you can. I like to try to make tens because it's fun and easy. And so we need to combine these. And you would end up with 72, and then check your measure because they're going to mix them up. This is centimeters, this is inches, millimeters, etc. Don't forget your cubic units, and so your final answer should be 72 inches cubed. And I'm just going to say right at the beginning, I hope you're a subscriber. If you're not, I hope you're in my class. Hi, kids. And if you're not a subscriber, click subscribe, come back again. I will try to help you with more math. All right, we're on the next one. And so we see that we have 2 boxes here of different sizes. Do we have all the measurements we need? Start looking and comparing. I see length, I see width, but the width here does not match up with the width here on this smaller figure. So we have to figure out, well, where can we make a change? Length, width, height, and then how about the height here? We've been given this amount. Here I have my 3 centimeters on this width here. It's not for the height. The height is over here. Sometimes it's kind of hard to figure out which one is which. So for box A, the volume is length, width, height. And if it's convenient for you to have a single digit times a double, then it might be a little bit easier, maybe not to have to do the standard algorithm. 6 times 8 is 48. Carry the 4 over here. 6 times 1 is 6, plus 4 is 10. And that is for, and if you want to put it inside there so that you can keep track of it, that's totally fine. Now we still have to do box B. So we've got our length, width, height already given. And so B, length, V equals the length times the width times the height. No getting around this one. It's going to be standard algorithm. So we have to set that up. And any place there's room, I like to do the ones on the bottom. So I'm going to do 63 times 21. 1 times 3, 1 times 6. Next row, 2 times 3, 2 times 6. Add them up. And then that is for this box B. And we're not done yet. We have to add these two together. 1323 and 108. 8, 9, 10, 11. Carry the 1. 3 and 1 is 4. 1 comes down. 1,431 centimeters cubed. And so the length, width, and height are given. And so then we just add both boxes. Okay. Next one on the bottom here. We've got 3 figures this time, so you can just label them. None the same. So we've got A, B, and C. Look for or use colored pencils to identify what are the different length, width, height measurements, especially on that width that's kind of hard to see going back in the page. So that's your 3. That means this width is 3 and this width is 3. So that's going to help us use the width of box C for all. Okay, and then we have to start figuring it out. So make yourself some room. Here's going to be A. We're going to have our length, our width, and our height. 6 times 3 times 4. In any order, let's just do 6 times 12. And that's going to be 72. So the volume of A, millimeters cubed, 72 millimeters cubed. Move on. Next one. Now for this one, we have, this one has the full length here, but this one only gives you the short side here, but I need that whole thing. So what are you going to do? You're going to combine those two, 6 plus 5. For the length of B, combine M, combine 5 plus 6. So now we have for B's volume, we're going to have the length, 11, times the width, same, times the height, given. Okay? And you can do these in any order. It might be kind of fun to do 33 times 4. Move that over here. Use your standard algorithm. 4 times 3 is 12, and then 12 again, 13. So 132 millimeters cubed. And we've got the length here, we've got the width, we've got the height. So for C, our volume is going to be length, width, height. This is 9. This is the volume, 45 millimeters cubed. Now we need to combine all 3 boxes, keeping your work organized. I like to put the largest number of digits on the top. So I've got B on the top, then A, 72, then C, 45. Doesn't really matter. Do what's comfortable for you. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 7 and 3 is 10, plus 4 is 14. And hopefully you got 249 millimeters cubed. Hopefully you already did all this, or at least tried to make headway. I know these are really tough. A, B. So length, width, height. I've got everything for A. For B, I've got length, width, no height here. So what can I do? I can take my 11. So the height, 11 total, minus the 9, the H9 of A, box A. And so that gives you the height of B equals 2. So you can label that here if you want. And we've got meters. And then you can even use fancy colors and just demarcate it if you want so that you know, hey, I figured it out. All right, so for box A, volume is length, width, height, and there's no getting around it. It's going to be standard algorithm time. So 36 times 12, 2 times 6, 12, 2 times 3 is 6 plus 1 is 7, and then we've got a 6 and a 3, and add them together, 432 meters cubed for the top. And we did figure our height of 2, so now we can do the length, the width, right here given, and the height. And again, multiplying, hopefully you can see that. 2 times 2 is 4, so 10 times 4 would give us 40 meters cubed. And then we're going to combine our 432 and 40 and get 472 meters cubed if you kept your work organized. And I hope you did, and I hope you got that. Okay, on the back. But wait, there's more. So this one's kind of crazy because the numbers they give you are kind of hard to figure, and you really have to look there and see what's happening. So one of them is a little bit shorter. You have to figure out which block is the single and which one is the double. Now, it's not that bad. The figure below is made of 2 sizes of rectangular prisms. One type of prism measures 3 inches by 6 by 14. The other type measures 15 by 5 by 10. What is the total volume of this figure? So we're going to go ahead and do our AB, but looking at the little number here, the 3, we're going to have to say this has to be the 3 here because this block has longer lines. Okay, now it's really deceiving on here, like which number goes where. So if this is going to be our figure with the 3, this volume for A is going to have the 2. So we're going to use our 3 by 6 by 14 in any order, whatever, times 2. So that's going to add on to that one. We've got to multiply that twice. For B, it will only be the 15 by 5 by 10 one time in order to get the volume of block B. Okay, so we can start here in any order, really, it doesn't matter. Let's just go ahead and give it 18 times 14. Use the standard algorithm, just scooch 1 over, it doesn't matter. I don't like to rewrite. I think I'm probably lazy like that. 8 times 4 is 32. Then 4 times 1 is 4 plus 3 is 7. Here's 8. 1 times 8 is 8. 1 times 1 is 1. Notice I didn't even bother to put a 0 there because you don't have to as long as you're in the right place value position. 8 and 7 is 15. Carry this, 252. But we're not done. You have to multiply that by 2, okay, because we've multiplied these two. Now we multiplied by that one, so we're done, done, done. Not done. Got to bring it down. Keep going. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 5 is 10. Carry. 2 times 2 is 4 plus 1 is 5. So that is our total volume of both blocks A. What's our unit? Inches. And that's going to be block A for both. I like to label everything just because it kind of keeps me sane when they have all these different things going on. For the next one, we only need to do it one time, and so I don't know what's easier. Probably, I always like to keep that 10, but I don't know my 15s off the top of my head. Actually, I could do that. Let's just go ahead and do 50 here, and then I can use my 0 on the bottom. So 15 times 50. You don't have to do it this way, just saying. The 0 times everything is 0. Scooch over to the next place value position. 5 times 5 is 25. And then 5 times 1 is 5 plus 2 is 7. So we have 750 inches. But that's not the answer. The answer is going to be the total volume of both. So we've got 504 and 750. And we're going to combine those. And we're going to label with inches cubed for all the figures, because that's basically all of them. Oops, cross that out. Didn't mean to, but there it is. Boop. There you go. Okay. All right, next one. The combined volume of 2 identical cubes. Oh, this one's hard for most kids. This whole thing is hard for most kids, so don't feel bad if you're struggling. The combined volume, that means they put it together, of 2. So volume plus volume equals 250. Cubic centimeters is written like this in the abbreviated format. What is the measure of 1 cube's edge? Holy moly, are you kidding me? Okay, so when we have this amount that is the volume of 2, first of all, split this so we can figure out what is, oh, there go the lights, like I said. Haha, I knew it was coming. We need to split the 250 into 2 pieces. So starting with that, I'm not even going to bother setting it up out. I'm just going to do 2 into 250. And go ahead and do your long division. So subtract, bring down, divide 5 by 2, goes 2 times. 2 times 2 is 4. Subtract, we get 1 left over, that's fine. Bring it down, and we get our final answer of 125. And so each 125, each cube, okay, they're identical. Each cube has a volume of 125. So now how do you get volume? Okay, how do you get volume? Well, volume is length times width times height. Okay, so you got to know your formula. But when you have a cube, you have a particular description that you have to stick with, which means the length of each edge is the same. So each of these numbers has to be the same. And so that is what I want you to think about for a minute. You could even pause the video and try to figure out, how do you get a number to multiply by itself 3 times and equal 125? So think about that. If you pause the video, welcome back. And yes, it would be 5 times 5 for 25, and then 25 times 5, that would give you the 125. And so just kind of trial and error, trying to figure this out. It's not 125 divided by 3 to get that's not how you do it, because you're multiplying the same number. Okay, so it wouldn't work out to do it that way. So you kind of have to figure it out. What's it going to be? And it's 5. So what is the measure of 1 cube's edge? 1 edge is 5 centimeters. Kind of a weird, difficult question. Hopefully you got that on your own. That would be great. If you didn't, don't feel bad. Okay, a fish tank has a base area of 45 centimeters squared and is filled with water to a depth of 12 centimeters. Okay, now what that means is that this is the base area because I'm using the length and the width here, and this is the height. Filling the water, this is the height here, okay, because the water is the gray. But the base area is already solved for you. Remember, when you get volume is length times width times height, but area is length times width. So they already did this for you, multiplied, and got 45. So the height of the tank is 25, but the height of the water is 12. That's this. You got to read carefully and then draw everything they give you. So how much more water will be needed to fill the tank to the brim? So what they're saying or asking is how much I need the height of this in order to figure out the area of the empty space. So how much more water, the volume, will be needed to fill the tank from here to here. So we could find the volume. You have a couple different ways you could do it. You could find the total volume and then take away the top, or take away the bottom to find the top. Or you can just find the volume of the top space, which is pretty easily done. If you look at the total height being 25, and you look at the water being 12, take that away, and you get 13 for your remaining height of the dry space. If I already have the length and the width of the base, all I have to do is multiply by the height. So all you really need to do here is multiply 45 times 13, which is the missing height, in order to solve this. 3 times 5, 15. This is 12 plus 1 is 13. Move over. 1 times 5, 1 times 4. Add them up. And you get 585 what? Centimeters cubed. And you can even call that 585 milliliters if you want. Those are equal, remember. We just did that in lesson 4, 5? I don't know. When did we do it? Recently. Okay, so that is the answer there. All right, now the last one. 3 rectangular prisms have a combined volume of 518 cubic feet. Prism A has 1/3 the volume of prism B, and prisms B and C have equal volume. What is the volume of each prism? Okay, if I was 10 and in 5th grade trying to solve this, I would just move right on. I'd go, well, I'm never going to get that one. So don't cry, don't fret. I'll show you a easy-ish way. Let's say we've got our 3 prisms. This is not super helpful here, but take your 518 feet cubed. Okay, now these two are the same, and this one is 1/3 the volume. I love tape diagrams and how they show us a picture of what's happening. So if this is A, okay, A has 1/3 the volume of B and C are the same. Hopefully this will remind you of some of the tape diagrams we've done in the past, trying to figure out all the pieces. Okay, so if this was kind of making you think, I feel like there's a way to do this, you might be right. When I first started doing this, I did not know how to do tape diagrams. And so I was using algebra from like my high school days. And I was like, okay, well, this is 1x, and then this is 3x plus 3x. And I had all my x's. And, you know, if you're a teacher, then you know where I'm going with that. And I solved it that way. But I did not really understand this. It's kind of easier to just go, how many equal sized pieces equal 518? And so that's the benefit of those tape diagrams, is to say, well, there are 7 pieces that make up 518. And if you're sharing 518 equally into 7 pieces, I can find the size of 1 piece. And so that will help me with my getting the individual, and then if you know one, you can know them all. So dividing 518 by 7, 7 times 7 is 49. Get as close as you can without going over. To our left, bring down your 8. 28 divides evenly by 7 4 times. That leaves us with nothing. Hello, Bob. And so what is that? Each piece is 74. So if that is the size or the volume of prism A, which was going to be feet cubed, then B and C would simply be 3 of those, and they're equal. So 3 times 4 is 12, and then 3 times 7 is 21, plus 1 is 22. And so those are the same. And that is how you do those. Isn't that terrible? Isn't it positively horrid that children have to do stuff like this? I'm sorry. I think it's terrible. But if you did hang in there, and if you do catch on, bravo. Okay, that's really good for you, because these are super hard. That's super hard. Anyway, I hope this video was helpful. We'll see you on the next one sometime soon. Bye for now.